For the last 4 years, Americans had a very weak economy. We had this massive inflation that came about because of government greed. Government has this tendency to just spend everything it could, far more than the tax dollars coming in. They just printed the money and just caused massive inflation. Well, I think we're about to see the end of inflation. With the election of Donald Trump and a strong GOP majority in the House and Senate, this changes a lot of things in our economy. I believe we're going to have 4 years of prosperity. So, a lot of this malaise, declining wages, massive inflation that we've been experiencing, it just has caused a lot of people to actually leave the middle class. A lot of people even thought that basic things like buying things from the grocery store was starting to get out of reach. And this is all because of government incompetence and really greed at a critical level. We're going to start seeing these really dramatic changes. For one thing, even though the income tax may not go away, at least President Trump is talking about getting rid of it. Imagine how much more prosperity would be unleashed if we finally get rid of this system. Everybody will instantly get so much more income just from that alone. Even if their income were to stay the same, there would be so much more income that they would be able to use for their own purposes. The truth is, the federal government is like a massive anchor for most people because it's holding them down. They're trying to work hard, and the government is just taking away their money and spending it on all kinds of things that they have no clue where it's going. And that's one great thing about Elon Musk. He said that he's going to basically be in charge of Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and basically what he's going to be doing is to try to really give President Trump good ideas about programs, departments, agencies that could be cut or eliminated, abolished, and that would actually be incredible because there really is so much waste. Most voters can't even identify a lot of these programs and departments and all the people, thousands of people in DC who are working in these buildings, but it's not clear that they actually benefit us. The reason why DC likes all of these kinds of programs is it creates an army of bureaucrats who actually get employed to handle these programs, but that doesn't improve the economy. As a famous example, Elon Musk took over Twitter and he downsized the company by 80 to 90%. He has like a famous phrase, cut, 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 cut. And then if you cut too much, you can add it back. But his view is you have to keep cutting until you realize, okay, I cut too much and I have to return. The truth is, the federal government is so huge that candidates don't even talk about all the parts of it because it's just too complicated, too complex. And if we don't even understand it, how can we say that it represents us at this point in time? So voters have said, you know what, we've had enough. We don't want to have a government that is so huge that we can't even figure out what it's doing. And so imagine if so much of that money that gets transferred to DC was in each individual's hands. It would actually bring about the economy very similar to what we had basically in the 19th century, how there just was so much more economic growth and development, and that's because people had that kind of power. If you think about it, these are ideas that have been adopted in successful places that are growing very rapidly, like Dubai as an example. There is no income tax there. Just like there is a lot of substantial growth in the states where there is no state income tax, I think that it would be such a huge economic improvement for the country if we got rid of the individual income tax. Now, on the corporate level, it's interesting. I could see the stocks surging already. I mean, as after President Trump was elected, I think that's because of huge relief that the corporate income tax rate will not go up, individual tax rates will not go up, and not only that, but corporate tax rates may even go down further because President Trump said he wants the top rate to be 15% for businesses that only make products in the U.S. I'm not sure how you can quantify that. Like for instance, Starbucks, their employees are all in America, the ones in American stores. But their coffee comes from around the world. So does that count as an American business? So stuff like that is an interesting example of something to consider. The other thing is that people in all 50 states will benefit from these policies for one reason alone, even if they don't care about corporate rates and all that stuff. Just the fact that President Trump is going to actually decrease the cost of energy is going to be a huge improvement. For one thing, the Democrats, they ran on their climate change thing, but I don't believe voters really care about this issue. I think that this is some issue that very wealthy people who donate a lot of money to Democrats, I think they care about this issue. But I don't think normal people care about this, especially when you're basically saying, well, the temperature will go up 1 degree in 100 to 300 years. And that's just an abstract idea, and it's not even clear that America has that kind of role to change the climate. A lot of scientists are divided on that issue. But in any case, the important issue is the fact that lower energy prices means lower cost of goods, which means that you have more purchasing power. And that's something that just was robbed of people for 4 long years, where things just kept going up and people felt like they were moving backwards. And also, I think that this is an important election for another reason. You can't just say, you can't just pretend you care or have slogans like you pretend like you have some kind of plan. You actually have to be a serious person when you're running for president. You actually have to have real objective ideas about what you're trying to do. And because the truth is, when people feel the pain like they did during Jimmy Carter's era, or after Obama passed Obamacare, it was a huge change in the midterms. The truth is that if you run on extremely bad ideas and people think that their cost of living is going to slide even further, they're basically their lifestyle will slide further. They're just not gonna. It's not gonna work. So I think that this is also a great time for crypto as well, because President Trump did run on a pro-Bitcoin platform. That's really, really huge, because this is a big jump from the present administration, where it had policies to basically discourage banks from dealing with crypto. It might be possible your average bank may be able to take crypto as deposits. So there will be a lot more innovation on the financial front as well. This is exactly what we need. More innovation. America needs to be a place where there's less regulations and confusing policies. We need to be able to plan for the future. And the truth is, politicians don't make the future. They just create in an ideal world, they create a welcoming environment where smart people like Elon Musk and other entrepreneurs can come up with their ideas and actually implement them. But when you have people, and I don't want to be partisan, but when you have people like Kamala or people like that, and they want to get in the way and they slow things down, and the truth is, voters really care about themselves. They want to be able to make progress in their lives, and they don't want politicians to get in the way. So this is going to be a great time period, whether you voted for President Trump or not. The truth of the matter is, objectively speaking, the policies are sound. This is historically going to actually work very well. It may actually be very similar to the 1920s under Calvin Coolidge, bringing in a roaring prosperity. And that happened under similar circumstances because the government just really stayed out of people's way, and actually the federal debt was paid back at the time. So it would be interesting if we were able to cut the budget by $2 trillion per year. That would definitely open up some money to actually pay back the debt. I mean, imagine being able to pay $35 trillion in debt. Some people just think, you know what, it's not possible. We either have to repudiate the debt to say, look, it's not going to be repaid, or paid through inflation, because we're basically getting very close to the point where people are not going to get paid back. And that's one reason why eventually bonds would go to the moon in terms of the interest rates on it. So I hope that this video helped. This is going to be a great time period for investing. The last 4 years were very confusing. You didn't really know what to invest in because the market was a very shaky, very confusing environment. I think the environment is pretty clear going forward from here. And that's exactly why I didn't actually post videos too much about investing, because I was uncertain myself. It just was a very unclear time period. But I think there's a lot of clarity going forward. So click like, subscribe, follow me, and I'll see you in another video soon.